Happy Sunday here at Laurel Park. Here we go, the last day of racing for this weekend. I am your host, Callie Francois, alongside with Dave Rodman, our track announcer, and I promise you we did not call each other and coordinate our outfits. We just happened to be a united front for this morning. But Dave, how are you doing so far on this Sunday?
Doing great. It's been a while since I've been on with you, right? Maybe even when? Timonium?
Timonium
Has
last
it been
year.
that long?
It has been that long.
All
so,
right.
No, different roles, switching things up. So, yeah, having a blast. What a day we had yesterday with Toledo nabbing 4 of them. That was nice. A nice day for Toledo yesterday. But let's dive in really quickly to the track conditions. The track is fast. We are off the turf. Had a little bit of moisture in it this morning. It might carry on the first couple of races, but overall, we're going to get that track back to the fast and fashion here, especially today.
Yeah, what a difference a day makes too. Temperature really nice outside, right? 74 degrees here in Maryland, a little lower humidity. Great day to come onto the track if you're watching here nearby and take your shot here with some of the selections Callie and I are going to provide you today. I kind of like a couple of horses we'll get to.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. But first, let's dive into your early pick 5 that you have rolling on. So let's, why don't you explain that a little bit? No singles.
Pick 5s, of course, we have 2 here in Maryland. The early pick 5 is a mandatory payout, and the late pick 5 would carry over potential. I'm going 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. 2 in each race today, and I'll know right away whether it's going to be an okay day or not. In the opener, using Little Miss Scarlet with that jockey change, Angel Cruz. Congratulations to Angel and his win the Del Cap yesterday. Ms. Leslie for Claudio Gonzalez, trying to beat the 4-5 favorite there. Couple deep in the off the turf race, followed by 2 deep in the third race. So perhaps a really quick pace can set it up for Ghost Game in there. That'll be my top pick in the third race. Almost singled that horse taking a shot. The fourth race, again off the turf there, a couple deep. And then in the fifth, 4 and the 6 in there, using the Captain Obvious horse that we'll show you on video. And my long shot of the day, it will be Epic Rise in the 5th race for Rodney Jenkins off the layoff and Richard Monterey. So if we can beat the favorite in the first, maybe get that long shot home in the last, there you go. $16 ticket might get you something.
That's a solid ticket for today. I like that. I like that shot with the Rodney Jenkins off of the layoff. So we'll get to that race. But first, let's focus on the first race where we go pretty similarly. But you end up landing on the number 3 Shaka Boom for Rudy Sanchez, Solomon, Walter Legos on top. This filly, she's going to be the obvious speed in this race. She's been able to go on any type of different surface. I think she'll enjoy this fast track today. Again, what I do like is that this filly will have some early dueling to contend with, but she's able to take it in stride.
Well, if it's the old Shaka Boom, she may not, and that's kind of what I'm banking on. You know, she's really quick, and I really like the stat here. Rodolfo Sanchez Salomon, second off the claim, turf to dirt, 7 for 29. 24% and a positive ROI. She went way too quick in the turf experiment last time out. She's a winner on the turf, but maybe today she can get out there, hustle with controlling speed. Brunella, yeah, she looks quick, but, you know, those are Churchill-type fractions, 45 and change there. It may not always translate to Maryland. I think she's the speed of the speed in the spot with a big early time form pace figure that kind of paid off for John Scheinman earlier this week, remember, right?
It did, yes,
right?
It did.
Yeah. Something to pay attention to in a short field. So 3, 2, 1, and 5.
3, 2, 1, and 5. I go 1, 3, 5, 2 in that first race. The second race is a claiming 16, 8.5 on the turf, but now a mile here on the dirt. I go for the obvious just the MTO that's coming off. Drywall for Gaudette, William Humphrey taking the ride today in the irons, and just really the drop down in class is the biggest thing. This is, and out of the field, this is the biggest drop down that we see. We have the weight off, so William can get this horse hustled out of there a little bit and get back into that fashion and maybe taking a shot at the lead and just running with it. So I think the weight off is just a really good indicator of what Gaudette's plan is with Drywall today.
Yeah, with the drop, obviously you have to respect her in the second race, but now off the turf, going that one-turn mile on the fast track, the race has turned an obviously different animal here. I'm going to try another speed in here, and that is on the outside with Chicago River. Justin Nixon with a lightly raced mare. She's only been out 4 times as a 5-year-old. Second back is the key here. I thought that she ran a really monster race when getting some respect against non-winners at 2 on the turf, off of 6 months away from the races back mid-June here, back to the main track, going down that long run down the backstretch of the mile, the extended run home. I think she can be placed forwardly. Maybe she'll make the lead, but I'm thinking maybe she'll sit right off of it. The pace won't be that fast for her, and looking forward to carry on. Positive ROI for Justin Nixon.
Exactly.
Was second off the layoff.
Yes, positive ROI with that. I was actually talking to Justin Nixon about the races today, and I said, hey, are you scratching anything for tomorrow? He said, nope, definitely Chicago River. He loves this horse in this spot, so some kudos. Just a little nice juju to help you out and back you up on your top selection. I got really intrigued by the number 6 for Tim Salzman and Kevin Gomez being able. I think this horse will be a bit speedy out of the gate. I think last time out it was just a bit of a fluke. First time over, shipping over from Jerry O'Dwyer to Tim Salzman. There was just a lot going on. Didn't get the quickest break. This horse is a little bit of the need the lead type, can sit off of the pace a little bit, which we will get with both probably your top selection and my top selection combined. But I had to just throw that in there. I'm very, very intrigued, especially at 12 to 1. We'll see what comes out once the gates open up.
Kelly, the other horse I used in the pick 5 sequence is a 7 Mo Fire. She'll be a square price, I think. Off the claim, didn't like the sloppy track at all, right? We have a fast track today. This been yesterday, they probably wouldn't have run her. But then she came back on the grass and ran kind of an even, good clip pace, had some interest late in the race, beaten only 3 lengths behind Pie Killer and Zola out of the very same race as Chicago River exits. So the top picks in the pick 5, the 10 and the 7, trying to beat the favorite in here, come out of that Pie Killer race on the turf to the main track. Like yesterday's last race, you don't necessarily have to have a big kick to close. Speed certainly helps, but if that speed gets tired, all you have to do is kind of grind it out down to the rail, right? Yeah, like yesterday afternoon's finale, right? And so maybe this, I think this is the kind of filly that we have here in Mo Fire for Carlos Lopez and David Howard.
That's what I see. I do see that filly. When I first took a look at her, I did see that grinding type of style, especially when you transfer that effort from the turf to the dirt. It even gets to be a bit more of a steady Eddie grinder style, so I think that's really going to be extrapolated in this race. But moving on to the race number 3, the claiming 12-5, but before that, we have a pick 6 ticket that I created just to get you going on this off the turf event, and I go 3 deep in this race. Ghost Game looking a little Ferris and Hide the Ransom. I think that's a little bit of a wider race than what is pertained, especially with the Jamie Ness favorite. Race number 4, I go 2 deep with those MTOs coming in. I think those horses are really going to appreciate the field that they run into in today's 4th. Race number 5, I go 2 deep with the 5 and the 6. I think Sponsored I'm looking to beat Sponsored, and I went with Senator Kelly, the number 5 for Gaudette. I just thought Senator Kelly has a little bit more to offer, especially with that last time out. Race number 6, in that allowance off of the turf event, I do go with the White Knuckle Flyer, of course, but I also thought Sweet Gracie and Combat Queen. I think this filly might give us, for Mike Trombetta, Mike Trombetta and Johan Rosado teaming up, doing very, very well recently together, so I couldn't leave that one off of my ticket. Race number 7, I had to go 1, 2, 3 in this. Eastern Bay, always spun 1, always in a hurry. I think those 3 inside horses have a bit to offer in that nice little feature race that we have. And for our nightcap, I go 2 deep with the 2 and the 3, Ice and Tis Suzanne Ann. But let's get back to race number 3, where we see similarly. I end up going with the 2. You end up going with the 5. I want to hear. I see it with Ghost Game, and we do. Have a video on Ghost Game. In fact, that's going to pop up right here.
Well, obviously, if this horse is going to win, there's going to be a good pace up front and an okay duel. So you've got Ghost Game here in the green silk. Let's just take a look at his running style. Obviously, no speed, angling out, but he continues a willing closing What is it, third? Where did he finish
Yes.
there? Yeah, third, beating only a couple of lengths behind Manolito. So there you go. Kind of an even clip of the stretch, but I think he'll have a much better pace ahead of him today. You've got Hide the Ransom off the 300-day layoff for Jamie Ness. And the key here, the fly in the ointment, is look at Little Ferris is pretty quick as well, coming off a little time away. Xavier Perez will ride him. I think their only option is to go with Hide the Ransom on the layoff. I know the 2020 version of Hide the Ransom would certainly win the race, and he might and certainly do that. But if the speed falters late, I think Ghost Game's going to be right there to pick up the pieces. That's why I use both. Hide the Ransom with the class, even with the layoff. Maybe look at Little Ferris can take some starch out of him. Perhaps not. If he doesn't get a little heat early, he's gone. But if the pace is quick, Ghost Game, I think he's run numbers consistently enough and has enough closing kick to get it done.
Certainly. What a take on that race. I do like how you figure with Hide the Ransom, we have to wait. I like the wait and see approach with Hide the Ransom, which is why I added a couple of more horses on my ticket for my pick 6 opener, just because I want a wait and see approach. We know Jamie Ness as well off of the layoff, but again, that was... You're referring to the 2020 version of Hide the Ransom.
Yeah.
So we need to. I want to see that, and I think there's a decent chance we will see it. But again, that's why I added an extra couple of tickets on. But let's dig into race number 4. That starter optional claiming 12.5. 8 furlongs on the turf. Now 8 furlongs on the dirt. But I do go in with Sugar Daddy, who you have underneath. Now, Sugar Daddy, with this one, with Hugh McMahon, J. Ron Barbosa coming in, it's a bit of a jump. No question about that. It's a bit of a jump. But if you, again, going back a little bit in the back form, especially before he had that last race before he had that break from July to March of this year, that kind of race is exactly the kind of race that could get him done. He has a little bit to offer as far as where he can be placed in the field. So especially kind of with those lead-ups up to Penn, and at Charlestown, I think he sets him up well to do well in this spot, finally bringing him to Maryland.
He's the speed, I think. I think his only option is kind of to go. His best number 2 back on a sloppy track at Charlestown. He was inside clear on a sloppy track, perhaps slop enhanced. Maybe the fact that he made the lead. He's going to be on the lead here. It's that long run in, quarter mile plus home when they turn in at Laurel Park. Can he go this far? They've never run him this far, right? In 14 starts as a 5-year-old, you think at some point they may have stretched him out earlier?
But they see what he's about, and they capitalize on that. So I think this is precisely where Hugh McMahon is. Why not? Especially when it's off the turf event. You have Candy Ride, who's 15% first-time routing, and then you have Hugh McMahon, who off of a short sampling recently has been 25% first route. Again, a short sampling, but strong enough for me to be convinced that he's okay. Of course, he does a typical Hugh McMahon works to get a nice bottom on this horse and get going. So with the outside post, I think that also gives him a little bit of leeway. If he gets the lead, great. If he doesn't, he'll still be in an okay spot.
Yeah, I just went for horses maybe that I thought were fit to get that last little burst in the final 1/8 of a mile. And Sugar Daddy just may pop a big lead and hang on to win by a nose at that second wire. But I think both the 7 and the 6 will be coming at him. Okay, game on. He's not as fast to stay maybe with Sugar Daddy early, but he was second 2 back at Penn National behind a horse named Super Catch, who's a 14-time winner lifetime, an 8-year-old. He's won 4 races this year. So I think he'll be right off of it. And the other horse in the race, Mr. Thrifty, who's in really good form right now, right? They claimed him at Parks. They gave him a little time away, freshened him up. He wins at 10-1. He comes to Maryland. He wins at 44-1. I don't think that race was a fluke.
No, definitely not. Especially coming back at that 44-1. That was a nice, especially here at Laurel. So it's a course and distance that this horse has been successful at. So which is why that's why I have to have him underneath. He was just too good and too convincing that second time out. I'm thoroughly convinced now. Race number 5. Before we get to race number 5, let's dig into a quick commercial. We'll be back soon.
We're ready for the start. They're off.
race number 5, this maiden claiming 20, going 6 furlongs. We both land on, or I used to land, actually my early choice was Sponsor, but then I switched it up a little bit. So what's your take on Sponsor as far as fitting into this spot today?
Yeah, this is a horse that ran okay off the claim and the layoff for Damon Dildovico on the drop at Pimlico. Kind of had an unlucky trip. He was very wide down the backstretch in that race. Loomed, you see, ranged up and was beaten in a kind of a three-way photo, beaten only a half length. Today gets a go-to Damon rider, Karamanos, aboard today. I mean, he's the horse to beat, but I don't think he's kind of more my long shot play of the day. I'm using in the pick 5 late here is Rodney Jenkins with Epic Rise, a horse I had on Stable Mail from his first 2 runs. You see he ran against Local Motive, a 3-time stakes winner, and then he kind of tailed off, comes back fresh, Lasix first time, couple of good works. People may avoid him here because A, the layoff, B, the double-digit drubbings he's had in his last 3 races, and the fact that that Jenkins puts Monterey aboard, maybe a rider that you may not think clicks with him, but they do. They've won a couple of races this year, right?
When Monterey can get to the kind of find out what makes these Jenkins horses tick and improves on them. So I totally agree with you with Richard Monterey teaming up with Jenkins. They're clipping at 18% together as of lately on the dirt, and then I do like those sharp works, getting this horse really primed and ready to go and thinking forwardly coming into this race, and hopefully we'll see a little bit more of that this time out today. So I do like that as a price play underneath. I go with Senator Kelly. This horse, just with that last time out, I was way too intrigued with what happened. Now we're shortening this horse back up, which is a distance this horse knows and loves, as shown in his first couple of starts, but had a little bit of issue. Coming in just right before the turn, had a little bit of an issue, and it just took away his momentum completely. And then he still ran well, but I just don't think it's this horse's distance. So I think he's back at the distance he needs to be. Again, he's coming off of a little bit of a layoff. Lacey got it 15% at that. So I wanted to, again, the Dildovico horse is the horse to beat, but I just wanted to put something on top just to keep things intriguing.
Yeah, he caught the eye in the debut from Maiden 40. Then he ran 3rd behind Kobe Tough, who popped a big number July 3rd on the turf here, right? Gelded and opened up to win on the grass, so you got to respect that. And then with the blinkers on and was he beaten favorite? Yeah, behind Pit Stop Man that day, but he's been off since February. Remember Boss Angel the other day, Friday, 13-1, Lacey got it. This horse has a similar kind of pattern on form, really. Right, a couple of good races, maybe a little layoff, freshen him up. Get him ready to roll again. If he can run anything like he did in his debut last year as a 2-year-old with a 53, probably a better buyer number now with the improvement in time away, I think he's going to be a tough customer in here, but 6-4-1-5. Well, I only went too deep, though, in the pick 5. So
it was kind of hard to go big deep in that pick 5. Race number 6 is our allowance 5.5 off the turf event. We've got a video on both of our top selection. White Knuckle Flyer for Dale Capuano, Jorge Rui on top. And just looking back at that winning action, is able to sit this horse, and this is exactly how this horse wins. Again, this was an off-the-turf event. We get this is just a very similar setup that White Knuckle Flyer is going to be getting today. There's plenty of speed. There's plenty of cheap speed, I also think, as well in this race. But he was able to just sit ever so patiently, made this nice move, the perfect timing right around the elbow of the track. Had to go a little bit wide, but again, that is a little bit of this horse's style. You can't get this horse. This horse has to be within reaching distance once you get near to that quarter pole.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good, powerful win, the final furlong, right? Roused him a couple of times there about the 8th pole, a couple of times at the 16th pole. Good, steady grind out to win. Good trip off the pace, but she's a very, very nice filly. Very useful filly. Only one bad race in her form, and that was in the Smart Halo. And she did get a little respect in there in the Smart Halo going off at 8-1. Dale Cap freshened her up, maybe so she wouldn't get sour, comes back, and she's run 2 good races this year. She's a turf filly. She's a dirt filly. Just a nice sprinting filly at this point in her career.
A lot to offer. We also get under the 8 underneath. Sweet Gracie Ferris Allen. Again, I thought it was, I gave a little bit of leeway in that last time out. I think it was a a little bit of, it was a bounce factor, didn't quite get the trip. There was a little bit of bumper car, not quite bumper car, but close enough to a bumper car situation going on. But again, we're not on a track with moisture, and that's the biggest thing about Sweet Gracie, is that she does like a track with moisture. So we do have a fast track today, and that's the biggest question that I have on her. But I do think it was also a little bit of a bounce that last time at Laurel.
Yeah, I like the fact that Alvelo is coming back to her for Ferris Allen's second rider here, apprentice Gina Alvelo. Seems to get along with this filly, and that's what counts. You know, she's had some troubled trips in the past, but 2 good races, 2 wins with Alvelo, hoping to rebound back to best form this afternoon. She certainly fits with perhaps any one of her 2 victories showing on the form from May.
Exactly, and I go underneath also with Combat Queen. I think pretty intriguing. Again, Mike Trombetta, Johan Rosado teaming up again. Let's see if they can do it on the dirt today. But that last time out just didn't get away exactly quick and clean, and again, it doesn't really show in the form, but had a little bit, just didn't get the perfect trip. To me, this is a bit of a type of filly that does like to get that perfect trip, as what happened, on the mud again at 7 furlongs in her last win, if you're going back to that win at that starter optional win. But she's always there. She's always knocking on the door for the most part, except in the Conover, which the lead probably shouldn't have been her game anyway, but I think she's in a nice spot with the potential speed that's on her inside and outside, and be able to navigate that.
Yeah, I mean, look at the company she's kept there, Princess Kokachin and Fille d'Esprit in the Conover. She was over. It's good second attitude, but you look at her lifetime record, says it all. 21 starts, 10 seconds, right?
Yes, which is why I have her in second.
off a time away from the races to boot, right? 79 days away, coming back here for Trombetta.
Exactly. And you have anything to say about the 11 and 12 that you have underneath with Moonsafe?
Moonsafe, I thought, ran good race behind the Petition Prayer last time out. It looks like she's on the upswing once more for Hammy Smith, I believe it is, right? That's the men's grill filly that ran a monster race. I thought it was an outstanding effort from her. Willingly comment, too, from Keaton Bill up there, which gives me some hope that that turf experiment didn't work out, and back to the dirt here.
Made her appreciate being back on the dirt. I was wrestling. I wanted to hear what your thoughts were on Moonsafe, because I wrestled with this filly on and off of my ticket. So I'm glad that you had her underneath. I just got a little intrigued by her, definitely.
Well, what intrigues me is the Gary Capuano barn.
Yes.
And the 12 hitch a ride. Had a stat earlier from the horses scratched, if I can find it quickly. The last 14 days, the Gary Cap barn, 4 wins from 7 starters. 3 at Delaware, 1 here at Laurel.
That says it all. That says it all right there. They're
so
firing.
That's the 12. Hitch a ride.
This is a little bit of Gary's time of the year, though, as well. And I mean, he's hitting at 20% third after the layoff as of recently. Those last 20 starts third after the layoff, 4 wins, 6 seconds, and 1/3. So that's at least 50% in the money in the last 20 starts third after the layoff for Gary Capuano. What an intriguing stat and what an intriguing pickup. I love that. I love that you picked up that horse, Dave.
Yep. I don't love the fact that I mentioned the name of the horse, because now I'll be singing the Boston tune from 1976, Hitch a Ride, in my head all day long. I don't know. 76 graduate, so you got to,
I'm sorry you have to suffer that alone up there. You have to suffer it alone up there in the announcer's booth. Race number 7, that allowance optional, claiming 55.5 on the dirt on purpose. We've got a video on both of our top selections. The number 3, Eastern Bay from Norm Cash, William Humphrey. First thing I like about this runner is that Norm Cash gave this horse time to recover in between such a wonderful campaign, such a wonderful spring campaign that this horse has had so far. What I also love is that this horse just had the opportunity and was able to wait behind horses, finally found a spot, and then charged on, as we can see here, and was really able to grind down a nice tough field.
Collie, what a pro this horse is, right? 16 wins, 8-year-old. He's put together back-to-back. He's won 4 races this year from 5 starts. He's been in different barns, and he's just simply produced just about every time, right? He's got to have a good trip, in which he got there. William Humphrey, one of his best rides of the meet. He's been making really few mistakes. Beautiful. So a couple of beautiful rides this meet from the apprentice. The question is, with 7's out of the race, going to the lead, I was going to take a shot with him. Is he going to get a good trip with a good pace today?
But even I didn't think that was the best trip that he had last time out. He had
Okay.
he had to go. He just had to wait behind horses a little bit. So I could have seen that was to me. I thought he didn't get. It wasn't the cleanest trip. It was clean, but it could have gone a lot prettier for him. So
Well, I just like the way he did it, right?
Right.
He wasn't fully extended through the stretch. Once he got that hole, he just picked him up.
just picked him up. It wasn't
11-time
it wasn't
Laurel
crazy.
winner.
11-time Laurel winner. That's and with Spun in One. That's gonna to me. I see this horse being your potential speed on the inside. I really think this horse. I think Duarte is going to just tell Toledo to just bust this horse out of the gates as quick as he can, because I do think, although this horse technically has come off the lead, if you go back in that Parks event, he did take a commanding. He took command just not shortly after that. So I do see him as just that cruising style. Not quite need the lead, but getting the lead will certainly help this horse. So I see this horse kind of taking charge and just let's see how this horse can withstand this kind of field, because he was able to do it 2 wins back in October. So he's gutsy enough to be in this field with these types of horses.
Yeah, I mean, the horse that he beat last time out, I know is a good number, a big number, is eligible for non-winners of 3. So I think he'll make the lead. He'll try to make the lead. I think he will. But we have a cash in here.
We do.
Norman L. Cash, Norman Lynn Cash, Norman Lynn. I'm going for the cash exact outlier. People think, well, he's probably once a mile and a 16th. But early in his career, this horse had some early speed going short. You know, he may be the kind of rabbit, so to speak, to try to press Spun in One and just conjecture.
I agree. So, and I was thinking about putting this horse underneath, but what brought me against this horse is that this is a cash thing. They do like to run their horses back quick, but running that horse 6 days later after that trying effort and just kind of throwing in the towel a little bit, I'm giving this horse a race maybe where he doesn't quite. I'm just giving him a race.
Yeah.
I like the horse, and I've seen it. Looking back in his form, I've seen it before. That short Keeneland run to that 9 furlong, that's a quick enough turnaround where he was able to really enjoy. He took advantage of that, so he was able to win. This horse can win off of a short layoff, but this is the shortest shortest time in between races, and that's kind of what's setting me on the back foot about him. So I understand why you have the cash, but for me, I set him off a little bit. I went with underneath with a Savoy horse. The horse just threw in a clunker last time. He was running well. He's been doing everything right from what I hear. And I feel like this horse, his mood kind of depends when the gates open, and if he's in it, he's in it, and if he's not, he's not. So I took a chance to see maybe he'll be in the mood today. Why not take a chance on a 15-1?
Alrighty, what an excellent race there. The feature of the day, the 7th.
Definitely.
Anytime you see Eastern Bay in the entries here, you know you got to come out. You know you got to watch the race at least. Right?
Exactly. He's going to put in a wonderful, wonderful show for us. Our nightcap of the day. Last race of the day, race number 8, is the starter optional 12-5. 8 furlongs originally on the turf. Now we're 8 furlongs on the dirt. We see this a little bit different. Tell me about that number 7 that you do like.
Yeah.
Breviary from Mario Saray.
Yeah, last time out behind Award Wanted, 4th at Delaware, drops into the tag today. Was a good race, I thought, behind Award Wanted, who's 6 for 25 lifetime. She's also run 3 back against Acadian Girl. Good second over this track to Acadian Girl, who's 7 for 16 lifetime with 4 wins this year. Horse in really good form right now for Mark Lapidus and Mike Juralis. I think the 1-turn mile just is perfect for her. She likes to stalk a little bit, make a little bit of a run, and then hopefully can carry on there. I'm intrigued, though, by Aoife's Turf to Dirt. That's your top pick.
Yes.
She's 27 times out on the turf 14. So she's run on the dirt before. You see something there that can get her in the top.
So I see Hugh McMahon getting these horses a little bit on the upswing. I see this filly on the upswing, especially in that last effort 5. So that was a 5. Again, we're stretching out. This is it just seems to be what Hugh McMahon is in the mood to do today, stretching from 5.5 to that 8. But if you go, the breeding doesn't totally suggest, and I'm reading off of chart routes, but Hunters Bay, El Corridor, the Dam Sire is okay with a little bit of his routers, but I think it's more or less that this horse is second after a layoff. I think this has been not quite an intention. Here's the thing: this horse has been entered a lot as far as late fall to now July. This horse has been entered at least 7 times in the past, ever since November of 21, has been entered 7 times and only has been able to run once. So I think they said had enough of it. They liked what they saw going 5.5 in an off the turf event. Why not try stretching this horse out, and then why not try running when it's an off the turf again? Proven it. So
Yeah,
I'm
off the turf. I mean, horse broke in the air, still one going away, right? Beat Carolina Ice. Why not give it a shot?
Why not
right?
give it a shot?
Okay.
So I said to myself, why not give it a shot either? I don't know how this horse will land as far as numbers once the gates open, but again, I had to give it a shot.
Looking at this mare here from Argentina, Argentinian bred mare, Suggestive Honor. She's got a shot in this spot. Way back in Argentina, she's won 3 mile races, 1 in the dirt, 2 on the turf. And here she is off the claim, a couple back. Robin Graham second behind Dilly Dilly Philly, a very fast favorite that day for starter allowance. Gave her a little more time away, brought her back on the turf. She's not going to have to work as hard to keep up today, going the mile on the dirt, as she did last time out on the turf. I thought it was a good, even effort. Just looking at her stride, the way she runs, and looking at the video, she got a little check squeezed out there for sure, but she's just kind of a steady runner. Again, that one-turn mile, kind of the mare maybe you need here. Robin Graham, owner Stephen Wellfish, and Horatio Caramanos have had some big success together, working on a dream, I'm thinking of, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so I see that same style. That's what I did pick up. There's just a bit of a steady Eddie style, and Caramanos will get this filly popped out of the gate. Really, it's the biggest thing with this filly is that if she gets that placement she has to get that placement in at least the first 16th of the race, and if she does, then she's set up in that nice cruising spot where she's going to be able to just kind of wear them down at that extended wire that we have here for the one-turn mile.
Yeah, I think she will. I think she will, especially coming off that 5.5 turf race. Looking maybe for some hints back in her Argentinian races. I really don't see too many. It says on rail found room. Her second win was she was in the back of the pack, wide in the turn. So I really don't know, what happened back there in 2020, what kind of trip she had. But stretching to this one-turn mile at a price at 6-1, 5 to 6-1 range in the finale, worth a little play.
Sure, why not? And that is our talk, our race talk for this Sunday's card. And we're going to have this guy coming back to you with some scratches and changes. Good luck.
Good luck.